So I've been having like this like pain in my lower right abdomen. Do you think my appendix burst?
I just think you're getting old. No,
Oh. That I
uh,
didn't panic, right? I'm like, I think my appendix burst. It's fine.
I think you would know if it did. I hear that's very painful.
Yeah, I heard that too. I took a probiotic last night to see if that helped.
Melatonin, a probiotic.
Getting old.
What else you taking
Apple cider vinegar gummies because I heard that's good
to
to
lose
like
weight?
to lose weight.
I tried to drink that once, I think, because I was told that I couldn't make it. I couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, that's why I went with the gummies
I was like, like
because I got on the scale today and it was not good.
here's
So
what you do: you take that scale, you open up your front door,
and
you
you throw
throw
the
that
bitch
bitch
out.
out, and you say, "Don't you come back now, you hear?"
Well, the only reason why I did it is because my fat jeans, which usually fit me whether I'm fat or skinny, they get tight when I'm on the heavier side, or they're falling off of me when I'm on the lighter side. And now I can't button them, so I'm like, oh, we have a problem. Got to get on the scale and see what it is.
John's working out so much that he's ruining pairs of jeans because his butt's getting bigger. And I'm like, "Yeah, a hole in your pant." Like he's like, "Oh, another pair, damn." He's like,
Oh
"Must be nice, size 29, 30."
my god, I haven't been a 29 since I was 19.
He's a 29 or a 30. Something I've never been.
Well, I'll never be that again, so.
I know. I learned this shirt is my shirt that I consider my comfy shirt when I'm feeling a little fluffy.
Fluffy.
It makes me feel better.
Well, hi everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and as always, I'm joined by Aaron.
Hello, fluffy and
And
queer.
um, today we are talking about Reva's clone storyline again for the fourth time. We watched another week's worth of episodes, so let's roll the credits and we'll get right into it. I was like, ooh, is he gonna play the right credits this time?
I sure did. It's only a mistake you make a few times,
A few times.
and I'm sure I'll make it a few more times.
Well, I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed this batch of episodes. I caught myself laughing quite a few times.
Joshua,
Um, so I was really happy that we got another week's worth of Bethany
hmm
playing Clone Reva.
who is
Uh,
just, it's so interesting to see her play that kind of, we'll
I
call it the
think,
Brooke Davis type character.
yeah, I think that's what added to my enjoyment of it because it's like I know this girl for years from another show, and I'm
hmm
just like, this is very interesting.
We know her as Tudor Girl, and now she's like, Joshua, make love to me. Make love to me, Joshua. Make love to me.
So we picked off where we left off with Reva in the ocean, I guess. I was gonna say
Pond,
I was gonna say the lagoon.
yeah,
um,
something like that.
and the mystery man that's been watching her through the bushes the whole time is yelling at her to get out of there. Now you had previously speculated that there's probably like leeches or something in the water.
hmm
It's not. It's just sharp coral at the bottom.
I would have never guessed that.
um, so she keeps yelling at him like, "I knew you were there. You watched me this whole time. You pervert. You saw me naked. Like you just want me to get out so you could see me naked again." Did you feel like she didn't breathe in between sentences? I felt like she just kept going and going, and at one point I was
That
like,
was just,
"Shh."
it's like, let him speak so you can find out. Shh, Reva. But I don't think Reva can take a breath. Neither can her sister.
Well, yeah. Well, she eventually does get out. She agrees to come out, but he has to turn his back while she puts her clothes back on. And she's just going on and on and on and on. She decides that since he's not going to tell her his name, she's going to call him Weasel. So while she's going on and on and on, he's just sick of hearing her. He leaves. And when
I'm,
she's done to get dressed, he's just gone.
and I feel like that's not something she's used to happening. People don't just leave. And
And
she's
then she's
speaking to
like,
them.
she's basically like, "Don't walk away from me. I'll find you." It's the middle of the night. How are you gonna find him in the dark on the island?
And then she can't find them, and it's
Right.
all, how can I not find them? This island's not that big.
We pick up with Cassie in Michael's apartment, finding Josh with clone Reva, and she suspects that Josh is having an affair with this girl. She doesn't know who she is. Michael comes in, and Josh asks him to take clone Reva out into the hall, and she goes, but not without protest. She actually kind of says she would snap Cassie in two, which was interesting. I was like, ooh, catfight. And then when she's in the hallway, she's like, she's such a bimbo. And Michael's like, how do you know that word? She was like, I don't know what it is, but she keeps calling me that, so I feel like it must be bad.
Bethany's
um,
so adorable in this role.
yeah. So Cassie tells Josh that Michael gave her this asinine story, which was the truth about him doing these tests and cloning her and blah, 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 blah. And Josh is pretty much just like, no, that was the truth. Like, and she's like, you expect me to believe this? And he's like, you need to sit down because. And he basically explains that Reva died in the plane crash.
Hmm.
Um, so he says that's your sister out there. Could you imagine?
No. Uh, yeah.
And Michael says the same thing to clone Reva. And she's in absolute shock. She's like, that's my sister? Cassie's my sister?
What?
um, at one point, you're right. She does try to seduce him.
Try. She pretty much threw herself at him.
She was like, I was watching TV and I saw these people, they were having sex. I was like, were you watching porn? Like, what were you watching?
No, she was watching Genoa City.
She-
When she said that, I was like, oh my god.
oh, yeah,
It's
I
like,
was cracking up. When so Hart, Cassie's boyfriend, came to the house with Dinah and they made her hide under the stairwell, but she had to be quiet and she only agreed to if, like, they went on a trip. So Josh says, where do you want to go? Paris? I already told you no. And she's like, no, it's actually in the United States. It's called Genoa City. And she's like, there's this lady there that I really want to meet. Her name is Catherine Chancellor.
I know. I was like, oh, Mrs. Chancellor.
He's like,
And then
they're like, it's a soap opera. It's not real. She's like, yeah, it is. It was on TV. Why would it be not be real if it was on
the
TV?
Young and the Restless.
I was like, this girl thinks she's watching reality TV. She's watching a soap opera. Like, she just has full access to these people's lives. um, so, Reva and Josh's kids, Mara and Shane,
Hmm.
are really missing Reva.
Hmm.
Um, and Cassie lies to Mara and says that she actually spoke to her the night before. And that she'd be home soon. Um, so I have comments. Why would they leave the medicine just out in the open? Because she was like, I'm gonna be like the Reva he loves, and she like takes it and like chugs it.
I know. I didn't get that. Why it's just his stuff's just laid out there. When it's like locked up, when she was younger, it was locked up. And I was like, oh, she's in, just let me like, she doesn't know which one's which, and she's just gonna drink them all. She's
Yeah,
like, I'll just sample each of them.
right? You used to have to fight with her to get her to take the medication, and now
Now
she
she's
just
like,
wants it.
ooh, that one looks good. Ooh, that one looks good.
Right. Okay, did
I
you
did.
not. No, go ahead.
Now I was gonna say I did love when grown up Reva came out and her hair was like long.
So that was Kim Zimmer, right? Because it
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
her. I was like,
yeah,
okay, they
yeah,
just
yeah,
put her in a wig.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was like, wow, like that really looks like her.
Yeah, no, that was her.
Um, I laughed when Josh was saying, he was trying to like let her down easily. He's like, I care for you, I care about you. He's like, I'm more concerned with my kids having their mother back. And she said, we could we could always send them to boarding school. I was like,
All good. It's like, ooh, this ain't gonna be the same mama they knew.
and she was like, we can have our own babies.
Forget, these babies. I want my own.
Could you imagine, like, oh yeah, mommy doesn't love you as much as she used to. Go to boarding school.
Well, that's just what soaps do in general.
That's usually how they sore ass them. um,
I'm
I
interested
don't
to
know.
know more about the man. I feel like he's rich and is running away from something
Yeah. Um,
because he sunk that boat like he does not want to go back
no, he
at
doesn't.
all.
And it's funny because I like to sometimes think about like the world we were living in at the time, and this is '98, so this is before Survivor was even out,
Mhm.
and he was
This
just
is
living
where
that
this is
lifestyle,
where CBS got the idea.
right?
We're like, oh, look how Reva's struggling on that island. What if we put 20 people on an island? Said, go.
She was like, he was like, no, she was like, I'm gonna make a raft out of that broken down boat, and he was like, you can't do that. She's like, watch me.
I know. I feel like she only said watch me because she's like, oh, he said I couldn't do it. Because that'd be me. Oh, I can't make a raft. I'd be like, well, no, I
He
can't.
had a
But
line.
I'll try.
He had a line where he said, "You have more courage than brains," and she's like, "You wouldn't be the first person to tell me that."
I related to her there. I related to her there.
And then, sure enough, her her week of scenes pretty much ended with the boat flipping over and her drowning. I don't know, just screaming for help.
Oh,
And he's just like, he's kind of looking at her doing that, and he's like, really? Now I gotta go out there and save her.
again. Because we learned he saved her the first time.
Yes, we learned that she was floating on a piece of driftwood, and he pulled her in
Mhm.
and put a coconut next to her.
What a gentleman. This kind of man we all dream about that will pull us in from the ocean and put a coconut next to us and then leave.
hmm
Just like a man does.
I didn't know that Reva called Joshua when she was about to die and left him a voicemail.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I didn't remember that. That must have been before we got the.
hmm
So
Because Clone Reva plays it, and Cassie tries to shut it off because she says it's gonna upset Josh, but he wanted to hear it. Um, I thought it was cute when Cassie was teaching her how to dance.
that was cute. I can't. Was Cassie a stripper or something? Because she didn't want to tell her about being a dancer.
I kind of picked up that vibe also, so maybe.
Like, because in soaps when they say, "Oh no, I was a dancer," that
hmm
in soap world they're like, "Oh, that being a stripper."
Yeah, I
But
that's kind of what I got out of it. I have to look into it.
okay, because I wasn't. I mean, I don't know Cassie's backstory.
No, but we have questioned whether or not her and Reva grew up together because we remember we were both like, wouldn't she
When did the?
know she looks like Reva? And she
Yeah.
didn't because she didn't know Reva around that time.
Hmm.
Joshua
Joshua.
confirmed that she was acting like how Reva acted.
At the gas station closest to our house, there was someone whose name had a W. His name was Joshua, but
hmm
it had a W in it. I
Okay.
was like, Joshua. Sorry,
Um, do,
this just made me think of that.
do you like that even though it's a week's worth of scenes that I always put the opening credits
Yes,
in?
I agree. Opening credits. I applaud you for that. The opening credits should make a comeback. I believe someone mentioned they should have the longer opening credits since they're going to be on, or since they're on Peacock now. I was like, you know what? I'm not against that. So,
Yeah, they've said that, and I know that they were longer, but why were they longer? Did Was there more
Well,
sands going through the?
well, it used to be like I sat through Hourglass other days of our lives. This is my
Yeah,
Donald McCurry and
Carrie.
or Carrie. Yeah, thank you. And da da da. I just miss the and we will return for the second half of Days of Our Lives in just a moment.
Yeah, I missed that. I missed that a
Always
lot.
loved that at 1 o'clock.
Me too. Plus, I also knew that meant they were coming back from commercial break soon. So if I was going to get a snack, it was time to run back.
I mean, there's
um,
no reason to put that back, but sometimes.
I also kind of miss the days like that there were no closing credits. Like I don't know if the episodes were just extra long that day, that they would just scroll the Corday Productions over like the freeze frame of somebody's face and it would say
Oh,
like the year. I missed that. But I also missed the closing credits that were like the hourglass turning and like the sun was setting.
I bet it's cheaper just to make one
Hmm.
version and
But
just
it's already
plop.
made, just use it. Pull it out of stock and throw it in there.
True. Well, the director name changes and things like that, so I don't know.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. Give me a job days, and I'll let everyone know.
Now they'll show the hourglass at the end that says Cordy Productions, and then they go to a black screen with the credits.
Hmm.
um, but I also always throw in the guiding light ending credits just so you know that it's over.
Because how would I know once the video stopped playing that Tommy
I,
has said this is over?
that's it. That's the week.
That's all. When I looked, I was like, I didn't think it'd be like when it was an hour and 30 minutes. I was like, whoa, they covered this a lot this week. This is just a week's worth.
The last one was like an hour and 40 minutes, dude. They're on every day.
So
Yeah.
it's not a bad storyline. There's a few times it drags a little, but I'm also having to remind myself I'm binging this.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, day to day they have to say the same
yeah,
things.
yeah. Like
So what?
I was watching Days the other day, and Jada had a flashback. I was like, I just watched this yesterday. That's my pet peeve is when it's like the day before. It's like at least let it be from a week ago.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else to say about the this week?
Trying to think. Blah, blah, blah.
I really like Cassie. Laura Wright does a great job.
She does. I think she is like the queen of just like yelling at someone when they're talking to them. Like it could just be like saying hello, how are you? Hello, like just I like that about her. I think it's fun.
But I feel
She,
like Reva is that way too.
yeah.
So.
I will say though, when I watch her, it's in some ways like I'm watching Carly from GH. They're very similar.
So maybe that's just her acting
So,
style.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I like Laura Wright. I love her curly hair though. The
I was
curly
thinking that
hair
too.
works great for her.
Yeah.
They should bring
Oh,
that.
so the end of the week, we didn't mention this. She's in the park with Joshua,
Joshua.
and they're just talking about how they miss Reva, and they're just consoling each other, hugging, like a brother and sister-in-law. And that girl Dinah is like sneaking around, spying on them, and thinking that there's something romantic going on between them. So she's about
Hmm.
to stir up some trouble, probably.
I don't like her. First impression is like, ooh, I don't like you, girl.
But you know who ends up playing that character?
Who?
Gina Tognoni. She was the Phyllis recast on The Young and the Restless. She
Oh, okay, okay.
and she was Kelly Kramer before Heather Swan
Gotcha.
played her.
She was great on One Life to Live. I remember her
Yes.
on One Life to Live.
Yeah.
And Venice.
And Venice. Yeah. Yeah. So she ends up playing that character.
Okay. I like her. I don't know why Soap has not snatched. I mean, I know there's only four,
They
but
can't afford her. She's
can
amazing.
well, I mean, I don't know.
Maybe Days can afford her now.
They need to. Based on that trailer, I know all roads lead to Days. Um, I feel like how all roads lead to Nicole. With us, it's all roads lead to Days. I love when Jada said all roads lead to Nicole. Um, I lost my train of thought because I was funny for a minute.
You were talking about Gina Tognoni, or we were talking about her.
Oh no, I was going to talk about the Bay. Do you
Oh,
see Mackenzie Westmore is on the Bay?
I did, and I meant to text you about it because I was like, "Ooh, she's popping up."
I know it's about time. She needs to pop up on days because poor Rafe.
I know she needs
I
to
don't
save
know
that.
what it is. If just him and Mackenzie sucked out all the energy for them to have chemistry with anyone else ever again.
He did have chemistry with Sammy, and he had chemistry with Kate and Jordan. Those are the only three people he's ever had sexual or romantic chemistry with.
See, I don't think it was that strong.
I was into him and Kate.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, don't you remember? I don't know why ended up in the hospital, and like Stefano found out about him and Kate messing around, and he sent like a goon to go chop his dick off while he was in the hospital.
I'm sorry. My favorite Rafe storyline was when Rafe had the lookalike, like Stefano made the lookalike.
That may have been an extension of why he was in the hospital.
Because I loved how Galen played that Rafe.
I didn't like that storyline because Fake Grave killed Faye Walker, and I was mad as hell about it. Threw her down the stairs.
That seems to be a common denominator of how people die on days.
Being thrown down the stairs?
Laura.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, that's just two that I know of. I'm sure other people in the past
you're
have
like
been
in,
thrown down those stairs.
you're like insert any other character.
But it's funny. If either of those people would have been pregnant, they probably would have survived because when you're pregnant and fall downstairs, you always seem to the baby always seems to survive, and so do you. But if you just get pushed downstairs, they're dead.
Because they snapped their neck.
Then how does a baby in the belly protect you? Gotta take
um,
off the realism goggles.
so let's wrap up Guiding Light before we go
Oh,
too far down the days
before we go a
rabbit hole.
day's hole.
So I guess our question was answered about if there was going to be another actress in between Kim Zimmer and Bethany Joy Lenz.
Yes, there's not.
There is not. So, predictions. I'm hoping Reva makes it home soon.
Um. Well, based on the photo I've seen, where it looks like, I feel like she makes it home,
hmm
and I mean,
I'm
what a
excited to
fun.
see her be a rival for herself.
See, I was gonna say she's probably gonna make it home right as Joshua starts developing feelings for Clone Reva.
Or at least gives into sexual temptation.
Yes, yes, but I would love to see Reva and Clone Reva fight for Joshua. Be like, oh, you may be Reva, but I'm the new and improved Reva,
Right.
or something. You know.
Could you imagine her walking in on him in bed and her being like, "You cheated on me with me?"
Me. I know that when Belle walked in on Sean uh,
with the
with
devil, with
her,
Jan.
but it
Yeah.
was Jan.
Yeah. Good times. Well, thanks for joining us for another edition of Guiding Light. Sorry we kind of slipped onto a day's tangent.
That's what we're known for.
As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great night, guys. Bye.
Bye.